कंपस्वेद पुलकाशु स्तंभ वैवर्ण्य निर्वेद विषाद जाड्य गर्व हर्ष दैन्य. So Madhavendra Puri's pastime is now moving towards its conclusion. It is describing Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 4 text 202 is describing the ecstasy that Madhavendra Puri, narrating Madhavendra Puri's pastime and reciting the verse that he recited, the ecstasy that kindled in Lord Chaitanya. So compass Veda Pullakashru. So he trembled, he shed sweat, there was jubilation and tears. Stambha Vaivarnya, a shock and loss of color was there. Nirveda was disappointment, moroseness, Visha, Jadya, Garva Harsha Dainya. Jadya is loss of memory, Jadata, Garva, pride, Harsha, joy, and Dainya, humility. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went through a whole panorama of emotions. It was as if the emotions were dancing through him. And he was in complete ecstasy, with the emotions being what moved him without any shaking of anything. Eish loka ughadila premera kapat gopinatha sevak dekhe prabhura premanat. Eish loke ughadila. So this shloka, Aidina Dayardanath He, which Lord Chaitanya chanted, Ughadila, it opened, Premera Kapat, it opened the door of love for Lord Chaitanya. Gopinatha Sevaka Dekhe. And then when this, it was like if there is a treasury in some cupboard, when the door is closed, one cannot see the jewels and the effulgence of those jewels. But once the door is opened, then everyone can see. So like that, Premera Kapat. Now, if there is a cupboard, the cupboard needs to be opened with the key. The key for opening the treasure chest of Lord Chaitanya's love, that key was this verse. And as Lord Chaitanya recited the verse, then that treasure chest opened and the jewels started shining all over. And Gopinath Sevak Dekhe. So all this is happening in the temple of Khirchor Gopinath. Lord Chaitanya told the story over there, and afterwards, normally people will hear the story and they will appreciate it, and that's the end of it. So the Gopinath Sevaks, they were not really paying much attention when the story was being told. But when suddenly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started dancing, falling on the ground, crying, shedding tears, they could not but notice. Gopinath Sevak Dekhe Prabhura Premanat. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing wildly, and the servants of Gopinath, the pujaris, the other servants, they all started beholding. What amazing love, what beautiful dance, what extraordinary ecstasy. लोकेर संघट देखी प्रभुर बाह्य हैला ठाकुरेर भोग सरी आरती बाजीला. लोकेर संघट देखी. So when Lord Chaitanya saw that so many people had assembled over there, sanghata, accumulation, when he saw that, dekhi prabhur bahya haila, Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bahya haila, came to external consciousness. And now we may wonder if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was lost in inner consciousness, then how did he notice that there are so many people? Actually, as we discussed, that it was an external devotional stimuli, that is the recitation of the verse, that transported him to a arena of ecstasy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he was lost in an ecstasy, he was also aware of his role and responsibility as a sannyasi. And he did not like to exhibit his ecstasy to people in general. So with his devotees who could appreciate that exaltedness, he would exhibit it. He would let his ecstasy come out unchecked. But whenever he would see other people will question, what is this? They will not be able to understand. Some of them may either think that he is just making a show, or others may think that, I will also imitate like this, and I will also act as if I have ecstasy. So he did not want all this. He did not want people who were not advanced enough to sahajiyaically imitate him. So in general, time and again we will see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibits his highest ecstasy in either in private or in the company of his intimate devotees. Otherwise, he does not usually exhibit his ecstasy to the public. Of course, on some occasions he does, like in the Rath Yatra, when he would dance, this ecstasy would be there for everyone to see. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would practically not see anyone, he would just be seeing Jagannath and dancing for the pleasure of Jagannath. So here, Prabhura Bahaya Haila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to external consciousness. And then at that time, what happened? The Arati. Thakurera Bhoga Asari. Arati Bajila. So Bhoga Sari. The Bhoga that had been offered to the Lord, that got over. Thakurera for the Lord. So here, Gopinath is being referred to by the name Thakur. Thakur was used also to refer to the deity of Gopal earlier. Bhogasari, it got over, and then Arati Bajila. Then Arti was performed. Now in Arti, there are bells that are rung, sometimes drums are played, and various Shahnai and other instruments are played. So Arati Bajila. So the Arati, the instruments were played and the Arti was performed resoundingly. Such was the devotionally intense atmosphere that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu internally was in ecstasy, but externally also there was a devotionally rich atmosphere. He was in a temple and he was beholding the Arti of the Lord. Thakurera Shayana Karaya Pujari Haila Bahir Prabhura Agyani Dila Prasad Barakshir. So Thakurera Shayana Karaya. The Pujari, after the Arti got over, he arranged for the deity of the Lord to rest. Sayana Karaya, Pujari Haila Bahir. Pujari, the one who was doing the Gopinath Sevak, the servant of Gopinath who was actually doing the deity worship, he came out. And although he was inside and he was absorbed in the service of Gopinath, he could not but notice that here outside such intense ecstasy was there, and such a great person was there who was exhibiting such ecstasy. So Prabhura Age Ani, he came before Mahaprabhu, and Ani Dila Prasad Barakshi, he gave him the prasad. What did he give prasad? Barakshi. He gave all the 12 pots to him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is such a great devotee that he deserves the best of everything. So now it was not just 1 or 2 pots he gave everything to Mahaprabhu. Prasad Barakshir and Barakshir. He gave this way, and what happened? All the pots are given now. It's an extraordinary expression. Normally, the pujaris in the temple will not give everything to a guest, and certainly they realized that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was such a great person that they gave all the 12 pots. Shira dekhi Mahaprabhura Ananda Badila Bhakte Gane Khau Yaite Panchak Shira Laila. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Shira dekhi Mahaprabhur Ananda Badila. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was already in ecstasy, but his Ananda, his joy, his ecstasy increased further when he saw the Kshira. Kshira dekhi Mahaprabhur. So when he saw the Kshir, his ecstasy increased more and more. And Bhakta Gane Khau Yaite Panchakshira Laila. Bhakta Gane Khau Yaite. So for honoring himself and with his devotees, he took 5 pots. So normally, whenever something is offered to devotees, generally if the hosts are cultured and are devotionally inclined, they will offer a lot. And the cultured recipient doesn't accept everything. Now here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also saw that actually they have offered everything. At one level that is a matter of honor, but also it's a matter of etiquette that the kheer they may want to distribute to others also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very graciously accepted 5 and he returned the remaining. So that's how there's loving reciprocation between the Lord and his devotees. Satakshira Pujari ke Bahudiya Dila Panchakshira Panchajane Vantiya Khaila. So Satakshira, 7 pots he gave back to the Pujari. and Pancha Kshira, Pancha Jane. So now why did he take five out? Five out because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come there with his four associates. So together they five pots they ate the kheer. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as he tasted the kheer, he was tasting the love of Madhavendra Puri for Gopinath and the love of Gopinath for Madhavendra Puri, and he was transported into deep ecstasy. Thank you.